Next issue that I think the government should have did from the start. Again, once we were able to distribute the vouchers, get it into family hands, and we're putting food and beverages into the public's um, pantries. The next thing I need to address is the banks and bills. Now, I stated this a long time ago. I don't understand how comes the government expect the citizens of Belize to maintain or to be able to sustain the ability to pay their bills, meaning electricity, water, and so forth. Those bills need to be forbear, meaning you got to push back 3, 4, 5 months. At the end of this process, we will be able to come up with a plan how to pay these guys, put these people on a payment plan to pay them back. But no individual should be able to get evicted. No individual should be able to lose their light, water, or any main utilities, internet as well, or any of that in this time of need. The government need to step in and enforce this. If this is not enforced, you're also putting our people in jeopardy, because now if you have evictions going on, if you have people working without light and so on and so forth, then you got kids who are not getting education done because, of course, a lot of parents are homeschooling. You are amplifying the whole being separated and isolated by 10, which would in return force people to want to come out more. Because people are not going to sit in a hot house with no fan and no kind of nothing to cool themselves off, or even some type of entertainment, for them to stay home. So if you want us to keep the social distance, all these things got to come into play at the same time. So again, please have all utilities forbearing, meaning we will push it off 4 or 5 months out, and whatever that total bill is at the end of this time frame, put the people on a payment plan to pay those bills back once they can recoup their job, and so on and so forth. That will also solve that issue. Okay? The third thing I want to talk about is the people who are out there getting tickets because they're not following the curfew and so forth. Now listen, man, the people got to do their part. The people got to understand that the only way this virus is going to be in our society is if we social distance until there's some type of vaccine. You cannot be on the streets. You cannot be out there just willy-nilly past curfew. You got to learn how to follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, then of course there'll be consequence. But my thing is, the consequence to me is too high. It's too high. Instead of you charging people $5,000, I think that need to cut down to $1,000 or less. You know what I mean? I don't think we should take this time to, I understand people needs to be punished, but the consequences need to match the crime. The punishment need to match the crime. And for you to charge a person $5,000 just to break curfew, to me, is just, at this time where we all are strapped for cash, to me, that's just too harsh. So that's something that need to take into consideration. The public has to play a part. And again, I do understand that, people will be back and forth, going back at the government and play politics on each side. I'm not here for any of that. I'm just here to provide solutions in regards to how we can solve this issue here as one people. You understand? And the fourth thing that I want to talk about is, because we only have 18 cases, which is not a lot at this time, we need to get to a point where we're at least having at least 25 or 20% of our economy back to work. And the reason why I want at least 20 to 25% of the economy back to work is we can manage that. And the way you'll manage that, I'll break that down. But at the same time, we need that 25% to be focused on producing food and services for the people of Belize. There might be a food shortage pretty soon. I've noticed that the Mennonites and the chicken poultry guys are talking about they're just disregarding food and wasting food. All that stuff has to stop. So what we need to do at this point is the government needs to at least free up at least 20% of the population to just focus on mass produced food. And the way you will do it is before these people even get back into the workplace in regards to dealing with your food, they got to be tested multiple times. Before they go out to do any shift, they got to be, their temperature got to check, and we got to monitor them before they, go back out to the workplace every single day. We have the ability to do that because it's a small amount of people. It's a small slice of the population. And again, this slice of the population will be responsible for the whole entire chain reaction on regards to food, the processing, the packaging, the delivering to the markets, and also the selling to the public. That entire process needs to be amplified countrywide, and it needs to be on a national basis. We should not be in a situation where our people are dying from food or starving or any of this stuff because of incompetence. These are basic things we can do that will alleviate a lot of these issues that we're going through today. And I know these things can be implemented. So to recap, Vulture Program. Bypass cash. You don't need to deal with money. Give people vouchers for food. The vouchers will start off at $500 and more. Okay? Deal with the banks and deal with the utility companies to forbear people bills and utility services. We cannot be in a situation where people are being evicted or people are cannot be able to pay their bills, so they're losing their services. That cannot happen whatsoever. The public got to play their part in being able to social distance, follow the rules, and understand that things will take time. This is a difficult time for everybody, so everybody got a part to play. We need to get out of the bickering and the back and forth and get into the point where we're finding solutions. And the last thing is for us to mitigate the 18 cases that we have at this time, open up at least 20 to 25% of your economy to focus on just food and production of food, meaning the production of the food itself, the farmers, the distribution of the food, getting it out to the public, and the selling of the food to the grocery stores and market. Once we implement these things, these basic things, it will alleviate a lot of issues we will have today, and I think on the long run we will be better off. In regards to the bills and so forth, again, the government should be able to pay half right now with cash and pay the other half once we get done with this coronavirus pandemic. In regards to the people who are not able to pay their bills, I would suggest again that you just put these people on a payment plan once we have, got over this hump with this disease as well. This shouldn't be rocket science. This shouldn't be something that we're going at each other's throats. It shouldn't be a political matter. Let's just get it done and move forward. So once again, this is Lamb with Changing Narrative. Peace out.